I wanted to talk about tonearm lifters, I guess is the best thing. So you go out and I went out and bought a new turntable and playing with it. Very different than what I used to have in university and high school, which was some time ago. Um, for starters, mine wasn't a belt drive like this, um, and it was automatic. So the whole rationale behind going with a fully manual turntable like this is there's less going on. There's less stuff potentially making noise and causing undue vibrations in the turntable and causing you unwanted problems. But having said all that, I still really dislike. I'm lazy. I'll be sitting on the couch and I'll have a fire going and I'll be just enjoying some music and all of a sudden, I'll realize I'll get distracted and I'll go out to the kitchen. And all of a sudden, I realize that I've hit the dead wax, and it's just wearing down my needle stylus. I'll have to fix that someday. Maybe some shock therapy. So, at any rate, I went out and took a look around to see what I could find for tone arm lifters. This doesn't belong here. Let me move that. Well, actually, it normally does belong there, but I should have it on the album, not on the platter, on the bass. So anyway, I went out and I purchased some tone-arm lifters, and there is quite a variety of them. Well, not really. There's probably I looked at half a dozen. There's probably a lot more than that, and once you get past a certain number, they're probably repetitive and all the same, and people are copying, infringing on other people's ideas. So anyway, this first one is called the Q Up, and I got it, and I thought, geez, that's pretty cheap. And it comes with these bases, so you mount these bases down, and they're stackable. So depending on the height you have and the problems you have, you can make up for the base being well below the platter, because there's another base over there that's already mounted. So, you'd have this thing this high off the thing. So no problem. It doesn't come with an instruction booklet. And Jesus, hang on. Made in Canada. Anyway, Palmer Enterprises. It's called the Q Up. And it's thequup.com. And it's not bad, actually. And you know what? It was cheap. As well it should be, because it's plastic and got a spring in it. So you got a couple things going on with this that they don't actually tell you. You've got this, which is going to adjust how high up and down you go. So I'll show you. We're going to lock it down. I'm going to move that to the bottom, and I'm going to release it, and it goes up to there. As I move this up, it should adjust. Well, it adjusts actually how quick it's popping up and how secure it is. That's fast. Like, that's fast. See that? There's too much spring tension on that. So you're going to want to slow that down, which means you're going to slide this lever all the way to the top. I thought it was the height. Maybe the front one's the height. So now you're locked down. Your terminal comes over, hits the release. It's still pretty fast. This one, though, should be the lock and how much force there is on the lock. Yeah, see, now I can't even get it to lock, right? So this one will adjust how easily the tone arm trips the mechanism. So that one's just holding it. So I would start there. So I have put that to the top. It flips because I tipped it and the weight of the thing changed it. But I'm slightly below mid. And that is, you want this basically up as high as you can, mount it. And as long as it's still locking, that's probably where you want it, because you want it sensitive to being tripped. Having said that, you don't want it to trip. You don't want a false trip, right? So because if there's a false trip, your tone arm's going to come over and it's going to hit that and not go anywhere. And it's going to skip. So you want to set it up so that it locks, securely locks. And then, and there. So I'm going to, this one, the base is already mounted. And this one's got a cool, this one's really cheap. Okay. I think it was $30 some. I think I got it on eBay. I don't remember. But if you search the web, you'll find it somewhere. You know, and it is plastic, right? But its base is basically a U, and you slide this into the U, so I can adjust it back and forth a little bit in that channel to adjust where exactly the arm hits the trip. I don't have to get that right. I want to get the angle it is to the arm right, but after that, I have some play. None of the other models that I know of have any play. I'm just going to mount this back in the thing because Gord's coming. He's got 1 or 2 tracks left. Rest in peace. Gord Downey, tragically hip. Hold on. How do I pause it? All right. So as you can see, I put the Tonearm lifter back in here. It's almost about to actuate the Tonearm, except I have lifted it. So I've set it so that it's just below the Tonearm when it's actually playing on the record. And then I've set it so that the Tonearm will hit it about halfway through the dead wax. Okay? So hang on, I'll drop this. We'll get the last of Gord. And then hopefully, if I set it correctly, it will go over and lift the Tonearm. About a second left. All right, we're in the dead wax. Come on, pick it up. All right. Looks like I didn't set it up high enough. Or forward enough. All right, so we're just going to shift it a little bit farther forward. So we'll go back out just outside the dead wax. And we're going to slide this towards the Tonearm. And now we're going to see if it's in the right spot. So that's the one advantage of this. You don't have to get it. It's got some flexibility after you set it in place. And except it feels really, really, really cheap and plasticky, it works fairly well. Now you have to recognize when it trips it, it appears that lifter comes up very fast, but you're so close to the fulcrum that it's not going to be all that fast. If you were out somewhere on the nose of that, it would flick it up, yeah. Almost through here. Come on, Gord. Finish it up. Couple more seconds. There we go. Going across the dead wax. Lift it up. There we go. So that was it. Okay, so I could have adjusted. I would actually like it to be a couple mils further that way so that it would lift it sooner. It lifted it okay. It was a little, when we get, so we've got 3 here I'm going to show you. Listen, for $35, and then, you know, lift your needle up, move this back out, pop it down. Don't forget, reload it. Okay. So now I'm going to show you Tonearm lifter number 2. Just going to set this Tonearm, make sure it's locked down. Let me turn that platter off. So this is Tonearm lifter number 2. It's called the Dead Wax Lift. Okay. And I saw a video on it, and I thought, that looks really, really cool. It looks really, really nice. I like it because it works on a very simple process. And the way this works is it sits, wait. Yeah. Touches it and it flips it up. Yeah. So this, I really liked it because you know, it works on basically a simple pivot, where the Tonearm hits it and it flips down and it lifts. It's not glued down, and it ends up lifting the Tonearm up like that. And I thought, you know what? That's fantastic. Here's the problem. this might work absolutely fantastically with most turntables. With this turntable, let me move this out of the way for now. While we talk about this one. For this turntable, oh, actually, I would have to set it over here. It's not tall enough, and it doesn't come with any shims. It comes with two glue tabs to glue it down, so you can move it once. But you know, you mount this in here. The tone arm comes over, hits it. It's not tall enough. I mean, the tone arm will trip it, but it doesn't actually lift it, and it jams it against the paper. So although I really like this, unless I come up with a shim that I'm going to use, and I might, you know, I could turn actually a little piece of rosewood or something, and that was the right base for that, and it would look quite attractive. But there's a lot more to putting it in place and getting it to work, and it doesn't come adjustable. When you get it, it has zero or very little adjustability. I think I'll be doing this video over again because I just figured out that this thing has some adjustability. Not much, but a couple mils. So not enough. On the base there, you have probably 1/8 of an inch that you can move it up and down. It's not meant actually, because that pulls right out. So that pulls right out. So that's how big the plug is in that bar. So unless you want to make a bigger bar, which you could do, but then you're into rebuilding the product that you just spent, I don't know, $100 on, or seems close to it. So we'll just put that base back in. So I think what I might do with this is I'm going to make a really nice exotic wood base for it, so that if I was to use it, I have the ability to lift it up a little bit, you know, glue that base in between, and that would work on this turntable. Your normal turntable, this would probably work fine. I've never successfully used it, but it would probably work fine. But you have to recognize it doesn't have the adjustability. It's a very simple device, but it doesn't have the adjustability. It simply works on the weights of this thing, and the fact that it's in neutral. When the arm hits it, it flips the weight and it lifts it. And it works okay, but there's no control. There's no dampening. There's no control of it. And it moves pretty quickly when it's tripped. Okay, so there's the problem with that. So, if you're interested in one of these, I'll sell you this. No, well, I would actually. But if you're interested in one of these, just be aware of the limitations of how high it needs to be. And I don't understand, you know, what comes in the box. You get a little template for adjusting it. You get 2 glue tabs, and it all comes in a tube, which I've put somewhere. Yeah, here it is. It all comes in this dead wax lift kit tube, right? So, and, but, you know, again, it's just, I think if I had a different turntable with a thinner platter, but all those that I can picture are not manual, although I'm sure there are many that it would work fine on. Not mine, unfortunately. So let's clear out Mr. Q Up, who worked actually quite well, I thought. I have not yet used this one, but we're going to use it now. So what I've got, this comes in a nice little wood box. Let me turn we'll just do that. So in this wood box, I get these and a couple of glue tabs. Okay, so the first thing you need to know, what the heck the name is this company? Because there are 2 companies that sell what appear to me, although I haven't actually handled the other one, but based on what I've seen, this is Amari, Amari, and you can find them on the web. I believe it's a Chinese company. Looks like they sell some pretty nice turntables, though. So here I've got 2 bases. So I have some adjustability in my height. I hope enough. The way this works is this is the bar that lifts, this wire locks into a groove in the side of the bar. So when this is locked down, the arm hits this, releases the bar because it's no longer in the groove, and this was what was holding it down. And this will lift it, oh so slowly. It's really slow coming up. It doesn't have a lot of throw, but remember, it is going to be very, very, very close to as close as I can be to the fulcrum. Now, the last bit of adjustability you need here to fine tune it is a screw here, and then you can raise the whole thing up or down. So I've got to pick the right base. I'm going to set it in the right place, and we're going to try it out and see how it works. Hopefully it works better than the dead wax. Okay, the area, I hope I'm pronouncing it, Amari, A-M-A-R-I, was easier to set up than I thought. I needed to use the taller base, not the shorter base, but okay. So I needed to use the taller base. This is the shorter base. And they give you these little MacTac pads that look like that. And I would think that you could reuse those a little bit. So if you wanted to tweak where your base was, I would think you could remount that. I didn't need both bases. They were too tall. I just needed the taller base. There was enough adjustment with the body to adjust it. So I'm going to see if I can just zoom in a bit here and show you where it is and what's going on. Okay. So we've got two of them mounted in here, right? So let's not get confused by that. So the first channel I've got is for the heck did I call it? Q up. So the first thing is for the Q up. That's right here. Just going to turn this bladder off for a second. So this first channel is for the Q up, and it would slide right in there. And it worked, I thought, pretty well. It was a little more aggressive than I liked. Well, I can't put it in because the other one is in the way. I'd have to remove that one first. But it just slides into this base. Pops right into the base. And it worked great, I thought. And you had some adjustability on the various different tensions, how fast it went up, and so that the spring tension on it, and what the trigger release was, how much trigger release you wanted. So now here's the thing about this. I'm going to have to tweak it because there's not enough tension on this trigger. So I'll load this up. See how it went in? Then it comes up. It's loaded. Is it loaded? Yeah, it's loaded. You have to check this one and make sure it's loaded. So I may not use it. Although you have to do that with both of them. The one thing about this, I would argue, this piece they put on backwards, and that because it slopes. Sorry, it slopes down a little bit down. I'm going to zoom out because I'm in too far. So the arm that pops up slopes down that way. It should not. It should slope down that way, so that when the arm touches it, it just lifts it right up. But at any rate, are we loaded still? Yes, we are. All right. So we'll hit play. I'm going to zoom out a bit more. Okay. And I'm going to bring this over. I'm not going to let you listen to all of the tragic hip. Oh, shoot. I didn't have my arm up. That's the one issue with these arm lifters, is that you're no longer touching the record, and you have to remember before you return it to lift it. Anyway, I don't think I damaged the needle, but not something you want to do on a regular basis. So we're getting close. We're about to trip it. Now this is a really gentle lift, so you're going to have to watch close, and I don't even know if you'll be able to see it well from that angle. So I may show it from another angle as well. So it's just about to trip it. Have we tripped it? We tripped it. That's how gentle that one is. Is that as soon as the tone arm touches it? So I'm gonna do that one more time, and I'm gonna show you from a different angle, and hopefully I don't want to make you have to listen to. Well, could be worse. Tragically hip. Locked. Right. Yeah. So that's the thing. This little steel wire is being pushed out, and when you compress down the lifter, it locks into this little slot, and then as your tone arm comes over, and that's a little too far. That's close enough. Oh, I was going to adjust the angle here. See if I can get something a little better. Let's come over this way. I wish I could get a little lower, but I have to adjust the whole tripod to do that. Anyway, when it hits, and it's just about to, it's very slow. So it's got a little pneumatic pump. So it's a spring. It would be a spring-powered piston, pneumatically damped. And we're in the dead wax. Hitting the dead wax. Come on, almost. Lift it. Come on. There we go. See that? See how nice and slow the lift was on that? Very, very gentle. So I think that's my keeper, but I'm going to have to play with it and tweak it a little more, and make sure that when I push it down, it locks down. Because and always remember to put that up after you've used the thing, right? So that when you go to drop the needle the next time, you don't skip it across the record. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I hope it was informative. Anyway, if you liked it, hit subscribe and hit like. Thanks a lot.